Hello and welcome to another edition of TSL Talk. We saw the opening round of the 2012 TSL season on the weekend, and Adam, you were down at Lauderdale to watch a pretty scrappy Hobart-Lauderdale game in windy conditions.
Yeah, look, it was very indicative of a round one fixture with a lot of cobwebs being blown out, very tricky, wind blowing fairly strongly to one side of the ground and into the forward pocket, so didn't make it for the most enjoyable game to watch, but Hobart, they put up a bit of a fight, but in the end Lauderdale's class, as we probably thought, might shone through, and they got the points.
So Hobart had a fair crack, were they a little bit better than what you thought?
Yeah, even I think the coach, Anthony McConnell said after the game, the conditions may have brought them back into the game a bit more. If it was a sunny day and free, maybe Lauderdale would have kicked away, but they showed the fight, I guess, and that's what many people thought they might be lacking. They lost a host of senior players, but they stuck in it, and it was just that third quarter where Lauderdale kicked 5-4 or something like that, I think, to one behind, and in the end that was the difference.
And Anthony McConnell had some interesting comments for the doomsayers out there regarding the Tigers.
Yeah, he certainly did. There's been a lot of detractors, and probably a few of us in here as well. We don't tip Hobart to have a very good year with the quality of players they've lost, but he said a few things after the game, and good on him. It's a 40-point loss. They'll probably they won't be happy, but I reckon they'll take that as opposed to getting blown away by 15 goals.
And here's what Anthony had to say now.
Oh, look, there's a lot of people out there that would have hoped that we got a 150-point flogging today, and that didn't happen. So to those guys, I guess we, bend over and show our backside to them. So we are here, and we are want to be a part of it. We had 7 guys out today. We had no Mariners in. We had 2 tools out. So with that amount of guys out and a couple of key forwards, we would have been a show. And there's still a couple of guys that we're speaking to that had walked away from the club that may come back.
And what about Michael Cassidy playing against his old team for the first time? And obviously he's also seen there's the key to Lauderdale now, that missing piece that would take them into the finals.
Yeah, look, he started brightly, and I think the first time the ball came down to him, you sort of expected something to happen, and it did. Sam Reeves matched on him for all day until Cassidy went behind the ball late. But, they had a few scuffles, and he took a couple of marks. He kicked 1-4. His kicking was a bit off, and he had a shot after the siren at the end of the second quarter, which didn't make the distance kicking into the winds. But he proved... he straightens them up, and that's the big thing. They've got a target, and then they can get the smaller guys down. Alex Heavey kicked a couple of goals. Kane Waller kicked a couple of goals. So, once in better conditions, and when he finds his range, I think you'll see the value he'll have for the Bombers.
And up on the northwest coast, we saw Burnie's going to be a force again.
Yeah, look, they've been tipped pre-season to again be up there and probably be in the top 2 or 3 sides, and they showed it. Everybody's thought North Hobart will take a step up. It's hard to see without seeing the game, but you look at the scores, and I think the Dockers did it pretty easily.
Yeah, they were 83 points up at 3/4 time. I think North Hobart came home with a win, but it was too late by then, so that'll be a real blow for the Demons first up.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance Sporting said on Friday when I was speaking to him that he, to get them early in the season, you might be a better chance, but obviously very well drilled side the Burnie, and the guys have picked up, and obviously Laycock and Lee there, and Sean Knott looks like the interesting one. I saw him named at centre half forward, and if that's the case, he's a boy from Ulverston, fairly tall, rangy type, and if he's playing down there, then Andy Lee could be this Matthew Richardson type floating around on the wing, and geez, how dangerous would he be?
Well, that's the thing. He's an incredible athlete and very fit and very strong, so he could be a real wild card for him.
Yeah, that's it. They plug him wherever they need him. He goes forward, kick goals. He could probably play down back if needed. But if he's playing that sort of wing roaming role, then I'd say look out.
And the final game of the season openers was at Aurora Stadium, where Devonport showed some real signs that they're on the improve. They got within 2 points of North Lonnie in the last quarter before the Northern Bombers kicked away to win by 27 in the end.
Yeah, hard to read this, isn't it? We probably think the Northern Bombers each year, they sort of offer a lot and don't deliver, and they've had a disappointing couple of years in the State League, and I guess they've got the points. How happy they are about it, I'm not too sure. But, Devonport will definitely take a lot out of that. I mean, they probably would have gone in as massive underdogs. And as you said, to get so close in that last quarter, they'll be quite happy.
Obviously, Darren Crawford's a very good player and kicked 5 on the weekend. But is there too much reliance on him to get the Bombers over the line?
Oh, yes and no. I guess you look at him, and if you look at a Cassidy for Lauderdale, he's probably the equivalent, obviously, just a bit shorter, isn't he? So he's their key focal point, and he's going to kick 50-60 goals this year, and the difference will be if they can take that next step will be for the likes of the Viney guy and people like that can maybe chip in with 20-30 goals and they get an even spread. So, yes, they do rely on him, but probably no less than what other clubs rely on their stars as well.
And we got a history in the making with the first TSL Wednesday night game coming up between arch rivals Glenorchy and Clarence. Expecting 8,500. That was their season opener last year.
No, I guess the Ackermanis factor probably is going to take away about 6,000 at least, isn't it? So look, intriguing clash, isn't it? A Clarence home game, given all the renovations that are going to be happening at Belrive later on in the year. So. Be interesting to see what happens, and Glenorchy haven't picked up a lot, but they get the guys like Ben Brown and Josh Arnold, I think it isn't, the other Mariners guys who last year they didn't only see for 5-6 games. So be interesting to see. Clarence lost a few, might be closer than some people think.
It's a new era for Clarence, obviously a new coach with Matthew Drury taking over from Brett Gape, and a new captain in Cameron Thurley taking over from Nick Payne. Some new players like Jake Cox. They've lost Ben Setchell, Jackson O'Brien, Drew Westfield, Greg Sharman. These are the guys who've sort of been linchpins of their premiership years in the first couple of years of the TSL. So it's real changing of the guard over there.
It is. That's a spine too, isn't it? You've got your ruckman and your the full back. I mean, it's two key positions. I know Cameron Blight's come back, so he'll probably just take over from Sharmo, but. They'll find their way, and Drew would be the interesting one. We've obviously seen the game plan that Brett Gapin's had in for the last 3 years. How they differ from that will be interesting to see. Probably similar to Collingwood, maybe with Buckley coming in and want to tweak a few things. I mean, they've had the recipe for success, so Spud won't change too much, but he'll want to put his own stamp on that group. So.
All right, Adam, well, thanks very much for your thoughts once again, and remember, for all your TSL stories, pick up your copy of the Mercury or go to the Mercury online.